And today I'm going to be talking about something that isn't movie related.
Huh?
It's not like film or anything like that. I just think this is interesting. Well, I hate to use that word interesting for this topic, but I think it's more so sad that one person can ruin the effects of many. And I'm going to be talking about cults today. And one cult in particular has been getting a lot of attention is NXIVM. And it's a cult that was founded in 2006 by this horrible person named Keith. I don't even know how to fucking say his last name, but Keith is horrible. And this is like the thing with cults. Cults are a system where people get together and they usually believe like one particular thing, and it's influenced by one charismatic, influential leader. And this cult was founded in 2006 along with this other woman named Nancy Salzman, and it was supposed to be a self-help organization. Whatever, load of malarkey. And Keith, he said he had this idea when he was 14 years old or 12, which I also don't believe is true. And he said that he was really smart as a child. He said he had a high IQ. And then once he graduated college, he worked at this pyramids. Cults and pyramid schemes are very similar. Pyramid schemes, literally like pyramid. One are very few people are at the top, and the people at the bottom are recruiters, and it's not a sustainable business practice because you only get money if you recruit people. And he worked at this business called Amway, and he got the idea for his cult. And Nancy Salzman, the other co-founder, I'm not sure if she's the co-founder, but she had a big part of it, was like a psychiatrist, and she had the knowledge they needed to make this business like a thing. And their business practice was basically getting gullible rich people because they needed the funds. And I don't like the word gullible, but people who this guy Keith was really good at manipulating people, even though when you look at him, he just looks like a fucking weirdo. But he was really good at using people's fears against them. And he basically got all these rich people to join his cult. And they use, another thing in cults is they use sashes, and it's like the more higher you get up, a different colored sash you get. And I think this is this whole thing was about self-love and self-help, but I feel like it's counterintuitive to get the sashes because it just makes people paranoid and want to compete with each other. I thought that was fucking stupid. But I'm mainly gonna be talking about Keith also founded this other cult called the Rainbow Culture Garden, which the reason why I'm down this rabbit hole is because I live in South Florida, and I wanted to see if there was cults here. Not that I would join one. And this was one of the places our headquarters was in Miami, but we'll get to that in a second. And they talked about Sassage, and one Keith, from the videos and documentary I watched, he needed constant validation that he was good, and he got a big ego boost when the Dalai Lama went to the NXIVM headquarters to speak. But it was completely a transactional thing. It was the Dalai Lama was paid $1 million to speak at this club, but they used it as a big PR tool for this freaking cult. And it had notable leaders like Allison Mack. They used
celebrities, and then these two sisters, I don't know their name, I know one of them is Sarah. They were heiresses to billions. He had them in the cult. And another NXIVM was what the people saw, but behind closed doors there was another cult called DOS, and Keith would use women as sex slaves and brand them. Sorry, this video is not for the faint-hearted. Not faint-hearted, but it just deals with very sensitive topics. Anyway, brand them, and it was just horrible. And he ultimately ended up getting arrested in 2008 in New Mexico, and he's serving the rest of his days in prison. But what I'm going to be talking about, sorry, I'm looking at my notes, is one of his other cults. Like, God, how many cults can you freaking have? The Rainbow Garden. Yeah, the Rainbow Garden. And this was for kids. Like, what the fuck? And this cult was basically, because he claims that he was able to read and like write when he was like 1 year old. And even though he has no education background, he made this school where children can learn like more than one language, like, so they can learn like 7 languages when they're at a young age. This was a preschool. One of the places was in Miami, and it raised a bunch of red flags. They never got the proper licensing, and the nannies, the women who were the teacher nannies there, were also sex slaves as well.
Credentials, visas to come over, women, young women, who often were sexual partners for Raniere, and then she would send them to these rainbow cultural garden schools, because there are numerous ones, the LLC, and they would be specialists.
Men are fucking trash. And yeah, the nannies were sex slaves as well, and this ultimately also ended up getting, thank God, closed down, because they didn't have the proper licensing for it. But it got closed down in 2018, like recent. I just feel bad for people who are in cults, because these people prey on weak. Basically, they prey on the weak, and they use people's like fears against them to join this cult and give them a false sense of community. I mean, cults are horrible, but they've always interested me. It's like Scientology and the Jim Jones. It's just crazy that these evil people have so much influence on others. But anywho, I might do a series of this, because this channel is mostly for movies, but I also like cults, true crime, supernatural, stuff like that. You like my little baby earrings? But thank you for watching, and I'll link the articles where I got the information below, and please correct me if I gave out any misinformation. But thank you all very much. Have a lovely day. Bye. I was editing the video, and I also realized that Raniere was dealing with children, and he was arrested along with his other crimes, being with a minor, because throughout his life he would be with 15-year-old girls. And so 15-year-old girls, and he was also like the founder of this preschool. It's just fucking disgusting to me.